Welcome to the office. Let's talk. So, when you're early in your career, you're probably wondering, how do I actually get better at this? You finished school, maybe started your first job, and you're realizing the real world moves faster than studio ever did. You're drawing details you've never seen built. You're sitting in meetings you barely understand. And you're surrounded by people who seem to already know. So, what's the fastest way to grow as a young architect? It's not just time, it's about intention. So the first step is to stop waiting to be ready. You'll never be ready. Growth doesn't come from doing what you're comfortable with, it comes from taking on a little more than you can handle and figuring it out. When I was just starting out, I asked to sit in on client meetings, even when I had no idea what I can contribute. I offered to help detail a stair section, even though I've never done one before. Was I nervous? Absolutely. But every single one of those moments taught me something school never could. Early in my career, there was this construction project that needed a lot of site observation. And because that job just happened to be halfway between the office I was working at and my college campus, I volunteered to be the one to make periodic site visits. That simple decision, it changed my entire career. I learned more by being on that job site than I ever did in any class. It was intimidating. Some young kid showing up while older, grizzled subcontractors tried to scare me, like literally in my case, but that's another story. But still, I pushed through. I asked questions, I took photos, I made notes, and I started to understand how drawings became buildings. That experience gave me confidence and context that made everything else click faster. If you wait till you feel ready, you'll spend years preparing for opportunities that pass you by. So speak up. Ask to take on a small scope. Offer to lead a drawing set or coordinate with an engineer. You'll make mistakes, but that's where the growth happens. Responsibility, that accelerates learning in a way that time alone never will. Also, a lot of young designers get stuck doing one piece of the puzzle. Red lines, door schedules, renderings, and they never see the big picture. They never see the whole project. If you want to grow fast, zoom out. Follow your project from concept all the way to construction. Ask to see how the Revit model turns into sheets, how those sheets turn into bids, and how the drawings translate into real materials on site. The faster you understand how everything connects, the faster your brain starts to think like an architect, not just a drafter. You'll start making better decisions because you understand the ripple effects. Every move affects the budget, structure, mechanical, and even code. So when you're given one piece, trace it all the way through the system. That's how you learn to design within reality. Importantly, forget chasing prestige for now. Chase mentorship. A small firm with a great mentor will grow you faster than a big name firm where you're invisible. Find someone who will actually explain why decisions are made, not just tell you to make them. Ask questions like, why did we choose this structural system? Why did we put the entrance here? What could go wrong with this detail? And here's the secret. Good architects, they love those questions. It shows you care. Mentorship, it's not about finding a teacher who's going to just give you answers. It's about finding someone whose way of thinking helps you observe and eventually adapt, and you could be like them. That's how you shortcut years of trial and error, by learning from someone else's trial and error. Also remember, hard work is necessary, yes, but reflection is what turns that work into wisdom. After each project phase, take the time and ask yourself, what did I actually learn here? What went right or what went wrong? You can't grow if you don't process your experiences. I know you're going to be busy, but taking just a few minutes at the end of a project to really document what your thoughts were can go a long way. Even keeping a short design journal, just a few lines after big meetings, can make a huge difference. I notice those things as a boss that some of my better employees do, is they walk around carrying a notebook. and they make notes of things that they've observed, things that they've learned. And you're going to start to see patterns where you shine and where you keep stumbling. But that awareness, it compounds faster than any tutorial or certificate ever will. The fastest way to get noticed and trusted is to solve problems. Don't just say, this doesn't work. Say, I think we can fix it by doing this. Even if your idea isn't perfect, you're showing initiative. And once people realize you can take ownership, they'll give you more trust, more tasks, more responsibility. In our office, I always tell my employees, if there's an issue, I'd prefer you come to me with 5 different solutions before you just come to me asking for a solution. I'd rather have you look at it and give me the options. They may be the right ones, they may be the wrong ones, but we'll talk about it together. But that shows that you're going to take the initiative and learn to do these things, and that I can trust you to do them. And that's how you start getting design input early, is doing these things that show your boss that you're capable of it. That's how you become the go-to person in the office. And it just starts with one mindset shift. Stop waiting for direction and start creating solutions. Remember, architecture isn't just a technical profession. It's emotional. Your personal growth will always mirror your professional growth. So read outside of architecture. Travel if you can. Learn photography. Sketch more. Study psychology. Watch YouTube videos that will explain about how social interactions work. Anything that teaches you how people live and think. Because good design, I believe, comes more from empathy. And empathy doesn't come from AutoCAD. The broader your understanding of the world, the better architect you'll become. So, if you want to grow fast as a young architect, stop thinking about years and start thinking about moments. Moments where you say yes before you're ready. Moments where you listen more than you speak. Moments where you ask the hard questions, reflect, and keep going. Every one of those moments compounds. And one day you'll look up and realize you didn't just get better at architecture, you became an architect. All right, that's it. Let's get back to work.